is that when I go through a little bit of compensation tonight, by the way, my goal tonight is to give you enough information for you to say, you know what, this makes sense and I'm interested, how can I get even more information? That's really our goal. And the fact is that, so for me, I looked at this and said, I understand the model, I understand how to do it. How do you do it? How did I build 28,000 people on my team? I just did a whole bunch of this. You know, I never worked any harder than this. I went in people's homes, and a lot of times they fed me. And then I would, you know, and the idea is that, but the idea is that if 5 or 6 or 7 of you tonight said, hey, I want to do this, and then the theory is you'd have 6 or 7 people over your house, and we just keep passing it down, passing it down, passing it down. And all of a sudden, when we're in New Jersey or New York, who knows people in New York, who knows people in New Jersey, and that's how it starts. We make phone calls up there, and we talk to your aunt or your uncle, your cousin, your friend, and they like it, and they put 5 or 6 people in their house, and all of a sudden you're off and running. And if you do it right, and you build an infrastructure, and we'll do all that, that's how it plays out. Now the timing, as I mentioned, is key because we're not open in Maryland. Here's what I know about network marketing. If you can get involved in something first or early, you are clearly in the driver's seat for the potential of big money. Every company that I've ever studied or been to or met the leaders in that company will tell you, hey, that guy's making $3 million a year. He was here on day 1. He was here in the first week, or he was here in the first year. Some early story going on. So we're not day 1 people, but we're virtually right there knocking on the door. There's 2,000 distributors in the company, and 96% of them are in Ohio. And then we just started working here. The co-founders, when they met with me and said we want to come to Maryland, I said yes, even though I lived in Maryland, you know, and I know we couldn't do nothing here for a while, but I had some friends in Ohio. So I called some friends, said, hey, are you open to making some money outside of what you're doing, the same drill? They said yes, and because they were with me, my former company, I know a lot of people from 20,000, you can start with some phone numbers. You know, you just start and say, hey, let's make some phone calls. So the idea is, and there's some good people. So as a result there, I've built a little over 100 people in the last 2 months in Ohio, and I just started here about 5 weeks ago, so I didn't want to get too early. I wanted to know when we would launch. We're going to launch August 1st. And the idea is that, so I started making some phone calls. The co-founders, they were with me in my old company. I was actually in the company prior to them. I watched when they came into the company, and I watched them become legitimate superstars in our company. They were a tremendous family. It's a father, Steve Mintz, son, Judd and Damon. Together, each of them individually became regional vice presidents of that former company, which is the top position you can hit. Independently, all 3 made that position, which is amazing. And they own the greater Ohio marketplace. They just own it. The father had a background, owned a couple energy companies. And so this was a natural fit for him. And his 2 sons are dynamic marketers. And the son, Damon, had been the CEO of 3 other companies that were all successful. Very sharp family. So this is a great integration, plus the money that's backing it. I just felt comfortable with the whole process with them, who they were, their background, what we're in, timing. And one other element that makes the timing good is the recession. Even though we're slightly climbing out of the recession, depending who you talk to and who you are, the fact is that whenever the economy has tanked, network marketing has been driven high. Because there's more people looking for opportunity when the economy tanks. If the market's great and everybody's making tons of money in the stock market, everybody thinks they don't need to do anything. And all of a sudden, when everybody loses all their money, everybody's looking for something, some other way to look at things. And I'm able to attract high-end quality people. My partner in this business is Dr. Tony Smaldino. He's up in Western Pennsylvania. And Tony is very, very successful. Has built a couple surgical centers. And Tony's able to attract high-end people because when we talk about the language of residual income, and we talked about the language of leveraging, making money through the efforts of others you don't pay, and you combine that with $1 trillion industry, you know, in the timing of where the market is right now and the deregulation of gas electric, it's like the perfect storm of 3 or 4 components all come together at the right time. So we're just looking for leaders. That's all we are. So when we go through this, when we give you a little handout, I'm going to go through a little hypothetical with you and go through some examples, and then you know you can do that. You can you guys use here. We can have that. I need that here. There's 3 for you on the couch, and you guys figure it out. There's a lot more. How many did you print? Not that many. Yeah.
I did not print that many.
If you're a guest, you get one. If you're a rep, you do not.
Right.
I mean, for sure.
Yep.
We're good. We're good.
Who else is a guest?
Well, we guys go.
All right. All right, here we go. Just like, so you reach for your glasses, that's what I need. All right, here we go. If you look up top, we've kind of covered these first 3, 4 slides. The company has an expansion plan. One of the reasons we can offer the services for less money is we don't use traditional means of marketing. You know, how much does UCI pay me to acquire a customer? Absolutely nothing. I go get my mom, my brother, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, my friends to be customers. They didn't pay me any upfront money. But when the customer says yes, the customer uses the service, the customer pays their bill, then I get paid a commission on that bill. That's pretty simple. So by doing that, they're never going to have any advertising cost, any media cost, any of the things that come with driving the numbers to get a customer. That's the model. The simple thing for you to understand as well is that they're going to build a team of hundreds of thousands of reps in the United States when it's all said and done. And I watched my former company, the phone company, in their first year they did $2 million in business, and after 7 years they were an $800 million company. You know, I watched that happen. I was part of it in some small way. And they're now later, after they remember themselves, they're a $1 billion company. And this company is going to do the same exact thing. I just think the time is just perfect. So let's just give an example. It says residual income there, number 5. It talks about you getting some customers. Well, let me point out to you, you're not going to get wealthy doing something like this by you getting a bunch of customers. I want you to get customers, but I'm saying it's not about you going out and getting 30 or 50 or 500 customers. In the compensation plan, I can tell you that nowhere in the compensation plan does it require you to get more than 20 customers, ever. It doesn't require you to do any more than that. That's a question that often comes up. Now, let me qualify what a customer is. This house has both gas and electric for BG&E. All right, so that's 2 customers. Gas is 1 customer, electric is another customer, so that's 2 customers. So if I tell you to get 20 customers, that means you really only got to get 9 other customers because 9 other people have gas and electric, so there's your 20 customers. You know, so in the compensation plan, they'll refer to customers also as points. So if you're looking at this later, you see points, that's the same as a customer. 1 point, 1 customer, 2 points, 2 customers. You'll see 5 points, 10 points, all of them as customers. So you're going to acquire some customers. It says you get 30% of shared revenue on your own customers. What that means is that you're going to get paid, first of all, on the usage portion of the bill, not the entire bill. If you look just for math purposes, if you look at your gas and electric bill, and it says it's $100, about 60% of that would be the usage, 40% would be taxes and fees. They're not going to pay you commission on the taxes and fees, just on the usage portion. And so when you break all that down, I'm going to get off of that because I want to get into the team building model here. It says level 1. All right, let's just have some fun here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I recruited you 5 guys into the business. No different than this. That's my level 1. Does everybody understand that? Now, here's what's cool. Each one of you went out and got, say, 10 customers. So we have 50 customers right here. How much of my time was spent getting those 50 customers? None. That's the beginning of the game to me. That's the way I see it. 50 customers were gotten in my organization. They all pay a bill. You get paid a percentage of your customer's bill. I get paid a lesser percentage. I get paid 2%. But I spent no time whatsoever getting those customers. I directed you to a conference call where they trained you on how to get a customer. Now, how do we get a customer? I want to go right there and make sure you're locked in. It's not in that how most people think, in the traditional way you'll get a customer. We're going to rely on the relationship. Because you don't have to get more than 20 customers, we're totally going to rely on the relationship. So you're 2 customers, so 9 other people. Who do you know? How many people do you know would want to do you a favor? How many people do you know would help you? How many people would want to consider helping you in a situation? So we use the words help, favor, and try. Very significant. That's how we did it in ACN and telecommunications. And it kind of goes like this. If I call my brother Timmy up, and Timmy and I are pretty close, and I say, hey Tim, listen, I'm calling for business purposes. Do you have a minute? And I say, yeah, well, what's up? Yeah, and my nickname's Happy. Everybody calls me Happy. They don't call me Chuck. And he would say, what's up, Hap? That's kind of what goes on in my house. And so the fact is, I would say this, I'm launching a brand new business. I'm going to be marketing gas and electric against BG&E. And I need a huge favor for you. I want you to be a customer of mine. I just want you to be a customer. Now, it's not going to cost you anything. You're not committed. If you're not happy, you can always go back to BG&E. But it would mean a lot to me if you would just give my service a try. Could you do that for me? Yeah. What's not going to cost me anything? There's no commitment. If you're not happy, I can go back? Yeah. All right. Why wouldn't I do that? How many people do you know that would probably help you under those conditions? A lot of times when I do meetings and I see it in people's eyes, they're straining with the concept because they keep thinking about all the people who would be difficult. Well, I always say there's 2 lists of people. Those who are easy and those who are hard.